Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advance. This game was played in women's Olympiad, and with the white pieces we have Xenia Balabayeva, and with the black pieces we have Divya Deshmukh, a recent FIDE World Cup winner, Grandmaster title holder, and an absolute genius. So here, without further ado, let's start with this game because this game is gonna be one epic and insane game. Result might surprise you, but sometimes it's not. Chess is not just a two-result game; it's a three-result game. So sometimes that needs to be kept in mind. Here, with the white pieces, Xenia starts with d4, and Divya starts with knight to f6, knight to f3, and we have this d5. And here we have bishop to f4, e6, but just e3, e5, c5, and just c3. Just going for a London system. And here we have knight bd2, knight bd2, and knight to c6, knight bd2, and we have c captures. And here just going for e captures. I mean, uh, in all our heads, when we think of the London system, there is only one person that comes in our head. I mean, it has to be Magnus. All of his games that he played on Chess 24, and that's where you should learn the London system. And that's exactly, I think, where Divya has come prepared as well, or Xenia has come prepared as well. So you never know how much someone is prepared in these lines, because it was absolutely amazing the way this game was played. Because here knight to h5 was played, but now just comes this bishop to e3. We have queen to d6, bishop to d6, but here just h3. And here we have just castles, but now just comes this bishop to d3. We have knight to f4, but now just bishop caps on f4. We have bishop caps on f4 and castles, and here bishop to d7, but just queen to c2. This game is an absolute perfect example of what happens when two attackers meet. And definitely you're gonna see you're gonna see what I mean by this, because here just g6, and here rook a e1, and just rook to c8. Now you're trying to kick this bishop off, maybe just push those pawns, and try to get the attack going. Here queen to b1, but here just king to g7. We have rook to e2, a5, and just rook f to e1. We have a4, but now just a3, not allowing that pawn to move any further. We have just queen to b6, just trying to put some pressure here, but here just comes g3, just pushing the bishop back. And where do you move the bishop? Here bishop to d6 was played. You don't want to go further to the other side of the board, because it is well, it's just unnatural. It just looks unnatural. And here after h4, now you get this knight to e7, h5, but now just this bishop to b5, and here knight to f1, and here just knight to g8, knight to g5, and here just rook ce8. And here we have knight to h2. Just both knights are just jumping around, and it looks very much difficult, but that's what sometimes you have to do. I've seen many of the aggressive players, they don't like to defend at all, and that was true for even players like Mikhail Tal, when they played people like Paul Keres, who are absolutely just turn on their defense, absolute perfect. Mikhail Tal always had a bad score with Paul Keres in his entire life. So it was just it's just not possible. It's not in their nature, and that's what they don't do. And that's exactly what's happening here with Divya, because she's trying to attack. She's trying to find ways to attack in this position, and sometimes it's just not there. And definitely with the black pieces, sometimes you just cannot find that. So here just bishop caps on d3. She tries to trade some of the pieces, because everything is looking very, very good for white in this position. But here just queen caps on d3, but now here queen to d8 was played. And in this position there is an absolutely amazing tactic. I'm gonna ask you to pause the video and try and find out this tactic. This is as brilliant as it gets. So yeah, pause the video and try and find out for yourself. Congratulations to everyone who's able to find it out. Here the move is knight h2 f3, and here after move like h6, trying to push the knight back. You don't go back, but you go forward. There is no reverse gear in this game. Knight captures on e6, and here after rook captures, now you go for this rook captures. And here after f captures, now just queen captures on g6. King moves, rook captures on e6, and here after rook to f6, you go for this very nice rook to e8, attacking black's queen. Rook caps on g6, rook caps on d8, and here just after bishop to e7, now you play this rook to d7, bishop to e6, knight to e5. But here after the king moves, now you play this knight to d3, and here after rook to b5, now you play knight to b4. And here just king to f8. You could play king to f8, or you could also go here. If you decide to play king to f8, this is not the best move, because here after king to f8, here just rook captures, and here after knight captures, you can understand that white has a bit too many pawns, and you're gonna just continue. You're just gonna suffer for the rest of the game with these pawns. I mean, this pawn barrage is gonna be very annoying. So that's why here in this position you have to go here, and that's the only way. Here Divya would be up a piece, but it's only going to be temporary, because somewhere around the line you're going to have to give up the piece for a few pawns to be able to stop the pawn barrage from happening. But here after queen caps on d3, and queen to d8. Here just f4 was played, just absolutely going for that attack and trying to get that win. But just knight to f6 is nothing in this position you can do, at least for right now. Here h captures and here h captures, but just knight g to f3. And here we have knight to g4. And in this position, Divya's opponent Xenia, she went for she went for a very beautiful idea, because we talked about actually knight captures. It could be possible in this position, but she tries to go for a different route. She goes for knight captures on f7, and that's a very 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 bold move, because here after rook caps on f7, here just knight to g5 was played, but now just knight f to e7. And again, when you look at these things, you just look at the same thing that attackers don't like to defend, and that is what's happening with Divya. She's not able to find aggressive moves, and that that can actually piss you off. Here a knight caps on d6 was played, but just this rook captures. And here after rook captures, rook captures, rook captures, you get this position where Divya has two pieces for the rook, which is absolutely perfect for her. She can go into the end game and she can actually get a win. But you have to always worry about the perpetual in this position, because both of the kings are actually not that safe. So a knight to f6, but just queen to b5 was played, king to f7, but just rook to e2, queen to c8, but just queen caps on a4, queen to g4 was played, and the queen and these pieces are coming together very nicely and very harmoniously. Rook to g2, queen to f3, but just queen to c2. You have to bring the queen back to try and defend in this position. Queen to e3 check, queen to f2, queen to c1 check, queen to f1, queen to e3 check, queen to f2, and queen to c1 check, and queen to e3 and queen to f2. And on this move, on move 43, that both players agreed to a draw, because simply because of the fact that Divya is better in this position, but she had already played 4 games and she absolutely obliterated everyone that came along. And I think they didn't have a rest day, so here now she played this match. And just sometimes you just get too tired, because when you've been playing this game, trying to grinding every match and trying to get a win, sometimes these things happen. So it's better to get a draw, get a rest day, come back with a fresh mood and try to obliterate other opponents. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with games like these, so stay tuned to the channel, and I'll be showing a few more games from the Olympiad as well. So just stay tuned, and if you like the content, do subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you.